Me.
Hello, Andrew. We're live.
We're live, and I'm just sharpening pencil crayons because that's apparently it's been a while. All right.
It's been a couple months, I feel like, since you've been here. Like, wasn't it like April?
It's probably been like 3 weeks. But
well, I mean, if we discount Retro Cavalcade, if we can't count coloring, it's been probably 2 months because I don't. You didn't join me for in May.
No, probably not.
Because I was able to get highly articulated to color Ewoks with me, so I didn't have to use you as my Star Wars backup.
Yeah, you actually had like actual stars on for a change, and then you're like, well, back to the well.
He's not watching, but I had Chris Plastic, so you know. No.
Yeah, he's been MIA for a while, so.
Yeah, I mean, and that was why I'm like, I know, even though he's, you know, sort of on break from things, I'm like, I can always drag Chris out of. Wait, I shouldn't say that in Pride Month because people will misconstrue the statement if I say I can always drag Chris out of the closet for coloring. I can always get him to come out of his shell. Right. I can get him to come out of his hibernation. Like we're not starting no.
We've just outed him, let's talk to him like so his address is.
You're right. His address is 123 FU. Anyway.
Let's start outing everybody.
Yeah, right. Hi, Stanley Soy Channel. Welcome. Lovely to see you. And you're a member. And right below you is Kenzo's Creations, also a member. So you know what that means, Andrew? Your favorite thing is about to happen. I need to get you to I need to send you a wig in Canada, like a brownish black one, and get you to film in enough champagne. Have you lip sync it. Anyway, let's hear it.
I'll just bring out the olive. Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
What's funny is that I used to do cosplay. I remember you mentioning this before, and I was like, "Oh, I'll go to my wig box because I have a wig box." And I was like, "Oh, like a drab brown wig." I'm like, "I don't have that. Who would buy that?" I've got pink. I got like some Aquaman stuff, but like no.
And then have a Gal Gadot brown drop.
No.
And hello, Rhea Black Ray. Also in Canada with you, Andrew.
Oh, down the street, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Small country.
Over the forest and through the woods to grandmother's house. You go, A.
Second house on the igloo. Second right.
It's as easy as A to Z. Let's see. So anyway, Bionic 6 was what you picked, and I could not for the life of me find that they ever had their own coloring book, which is odd for a cartoon and toy line in the 80s.
Yeah, I was like shocked when you told me this. I'm like, surely there's something.
But I did find in black and white the original animation models, which work just as well. So I printed out Helen. I think that's Helen, right? Helen?
Yep.
And then
Mother one.
Yeah. And then this guy. And then Chopper. I think that's his name, right? Chopper?
I think so.
And then I printed out the whole lineup of all of them. Not that I'll get all of this done, but it had everyone. I thought this was cool. But I'm going to start with Madame O, because, you know, we love a villainess in hot pink.
I think I did the same. I did like Mother One, Helen, was where I started. And then Madame O. And then I did Jack, who's like Bionic One. Again, it's I probably should have printed more because I'm like, I can't imagine these will take that long, but also like if anybody here has seen me here before, you know that I'm hungover, so that's fine.
Yeah. Like, you are hungover because it is, you know, like Pride.
Happy Pride. Yes.
Happy Pride.
Yeah, I think if you've ever watched my videos, you think it's not a big secret. I like to drink a little bit, so
well, sometimes you just have to. Like,
amongst other things, that's the worst part. So,
it's sort of my
so many times, and It's always like I pick a day. I'm like, here's where I'm gonna like sort of like figure out what I want to say in a video. Here's like me gathering all the assets, doing some more research, yada yada. And then there was like, I'm like, this is like I pick sort of like cloudier days because like the sun just blasts in. I have like a whole manic system of how to film now that I do it monthly, which is so much easier.
Yeah.
But invariably that magic day is also like the most hungover I've been in like since the last month. So like, I walk in like some like God like truck stop diner waitress like, hey sweetie, here's your video about girl figures. It's just so tragic. Like,
look, honey, we're gonna talk about figures we didn't get that are women because the 80s were misogynistic. There you go.
pretty much big that.
You gotta get the big
So
Martha.
that's why people tune in for just an absolute trash man to talk about women. Like, that's what you wanted.
This is what you voted for. Yeah.
This is what you wanted.
I'm disappointed because I'm still, recovering from illnesses and on medications for it. And we're having like sort of our hot spell of the summer down here in the West Coast, the coastal Pacific Northwest, which is normally when I would, because I don't drink a lot anymore because I just get instant hangovers. But when it's hot, I find because of the sweatiness, I can usually get a couple drinks in me without getting the instant headache. But because of all the medication, there was no champagne mimosas for Allison this year.
Womp womp.
It
is kind of shocking in Vegas or Mexico. And granted, it's like the vacation of it all, but like you start drinking at like 9 a.m. and suddenly it's like 3 a.m. the next day, and you're like, how did like a glass of wine ruin me for a weekend at home? But then I come here and it's like I haven't had an ounce of water in like 3 weeks. And like,
when I used to go to Vegas, that was my favorite when I would go to Vegas. Like I could just from morning, get up for breakfast and like, all right, let's go have breakfast. And yes, I'll have waffles. I'll have waffles and eggs sunny side up. And I need 2 mimosas and a Bloody Mary with extra vodka. And that's just how you would start the day.
It's psychotic.
And then for lunch you would have like mojitos with like a salad. But just never be fully drunk, because it's like the second you walk outside, like every drop of moisture would evaporate.
Oh yeah, like that dry heat, you're just like, well, what's the point? I love you had a salad in Vegas though. I was just like,
oh yeah,
just like lobster and cocaine for me, thank you. I'm on a strict diet.
It was a Dungeness crab salad, so it was like some lettuce and like tomato and like avocado and then like a mound of crab. So it's still Vegas. No matter how healthy you get in Vegas, it's still Vegas.
Still ludicrous. Yeah.
And that was actually, and then you ended up like the Voodoo. That's the one on top of that skyscraper, and I would have endless vodka martinis. So oh the days.
Oh the days. I'm kind of realizing that Helen's costume is a lot more complicated than I thought. These were, God, even their like street clothes were like very complex for like an 80s cartoon.
Probably why they only got the one season.
Maybe.
Too much drawing.
But I mean, they went so hard. They had like, I think they had like 60 episodes. I mean, like they were like, this is the next big thing during that time when everything was the next big thing. But I was like, these are really complicated.
Well, they were also like syndicated though. So it's like with syndication, you had to do 60 to 65 episodes to do the basic order. So that's why
every damn day.
Yeah, that's why every syndicated cartoon of the 80s is like 65 episodes, 65 to 100 episodes in season 1. And then season 2 is like 60 to 85, and then 13, 15, 16 episodes until it ends. Because once you have enough to do, for them to run you every afternoon after school, like Monday through Friday, like you're set. So.
Which is also so psychotic now. Like, I mean, like now we barely get like 8 to 10 episodes of anything, but like
Right.
it's kind of more like, I wouldn't even say it's quality over quantity, because like the thing is, like a lot of the stuff that does come out, you're like, they don't know how to write either an 8-part episode or like a tight enough story for a season. Like it's tough. I mean, I do quite like X-Men 97 for that, but I mean, like if that had been done in the 90s, we would have gotten, every single storyline would have gotten more breathing room, versus like they like this scud run like all these storylines in like the single episode. And you're like, whoa, you've only got 10 years here like to cover. Like, calm down.
Right. Well, it's a weird thing though. Like, yeah, because there's a lot of it's weird because like streaming, you'll watch a TV show and you're like, this should be one movie. Like if you took these 6 episodes of the streaming show and condensed it properly, it would be a solid 2-hour movie.
Like Obi-Wan would have been much better as a movie.
Exactly. And or you'll get yeah, and this is beyond just nerd, it's just in general shows. It's like you'll get a 2-hour movie that goes directly to streaming. You're like, this should have been like 4 to 6 episodes. Like this needed more room. And it's like, what I keep running into is it feels like there isn't an understanding about like how much story you have and when. Yeah, and there are some streaming shows, in my opinion, where it's like if you had a better caliber of actor, the 8 episodes would make sense because then those big scenes would hit harder. But
well, even like, I mean, Star Trek I think of a lot because like they did I think the 10 episode model, all of them since like Discovery, and it's like basically the season was meant to be one syndicated, one long story, but they didn't know how to structure it. So some episodes were like, just like, you were like, what was that? Like, it wasn't a single episode. And even as part of a piece of a larger one, it was still actually bad. Plus it was woke. So like, we all know that's just the worst thing you can be. But like, but it was just, they were poorly written. And that's the thing too, like these writers don't know how to do it. And maybe they should have planned better. I don't know, but it's like, you see that a lot where they're like, we have a story. It's probably not 10 episodes worth, so we're gonna have to pad it.
Well, it's funny, because every so often I'll go and rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer or the X-Files. And, like you've got the sort of lore episodes where it's like, this is building the ongoing story. And then you'll get 3 to 4 episodes in between those of like Monster of the Week. Then you'll get like 3 really tightly plotted episodes back to back that further mythology, and I'm like, but that's too much, right? Rewatching Buffy and X-Files, I'm like, there's too much happening here, so there's filler, but there's also something to be said for a Monster of the Week show where the characters just get to exist and have a story. So I think what my opinion is, and this is just my opinion, as an old person who remembers when you got 26 episodes of the A-Team every year. And that definitely could have been 13 if they'd removed the fat, right? Yeah. But I also feel like everything being 8 to 10 episodes means there's some stuff that's getting stretched out further than it needs to be, and there's some stuff getting too compacted. And I also feel like there needs to be, because we can do shorter seasons now. And like I know no film studio, no TV studios, no streamer is ever going to agree with me on this one. But I feel like if a show does not have 3 to 5 seasons of storyline, they just shouldn't do it as a TV show. And I think Netflix, anytime they greenlight a show, before the first episode is filmed, they should have a plan. Is this 3 seasons or is this 5 seasons? And the scripts should all be mostly done. And they should be sent to film it, all of it, so that we don't run into a Stranger Things thing where it's like they kept extending it because Netflix wanted more of it, and then the show suffers because of that. Yeah.
But also too, like sometimes you want fluff. I mean, again, going back to the Star Trek of it all, where like Deep Space Nine, especially the last season, the last 2 years even, but the last season especially, like it was very syndicated, especially, and it was really weird for the time. It's like late 90s on cable, so like that was unheard of. But because they'd fill like 28 episodes a season, they would throw in some fluff, but the fluff is good because like the rest of the stuff is very heavy and very like dark. And they would have like a baseball episode or like a Magnificent Seven episode, and they were like some of the best because you're like, I just needed a little tonal break for like just one
Well,
week.
yeah, but I think that also works. Like, one of my favorite episodes of The Next Generation is the one where Troy, like, Counselor Troy gets like, it's the one where she's like possessed by like that entity, the space entity or whatever, and she like falls in love with it, and it's really rapey when we look back at it.
But I was like, which one? Like, there's that's every year.
Right, there's a lot of things. But it was one of the first ones where she went through that arc. But it was one of the first ones I remember where she was the focus of the episode. So I think that's also different because we get an entire episode about Deanna Troy. And I think for an ongoing show, you do need, your characters to have sort of a fluff episode where it's like it's story built around them. It's one of the things I miss about comic books now is like, because everything is written for like trade and like everything's a 4 or 6 issue arc, that fulfills a longer 12 issue arc because that's all that you ever hire writers for anymore on comic books. It's like, you got 12 issues, you need to tell a cohesive storyline over that. And because of the artists you're using, you're going to have a break here where you do a one-off story because you have a different artist. And it's like, I feel like some of my favorite issues growing up were like sort of the one-offs that were like, especially the Teen Titans by Wolfman and Perez. Every so often they would just throw in a one-off issue. Like there was one of the first ones they did where like Starfire falls in love with like a member of the Hive, Franklin, who was sent to spy on her, right? And like it's a single issue, and then he gets killed by the Hive because he refuses to betray her at the end. It's like a single issue storyline. It's before she and Dick are are in a relation. It's when she likes him, but he won't open himself up to her. Because and it's like issue 16 it's issue 16 of the original New Teen Titans. One of my favorite episodes, one of my favorite issues of that comic, and it's it's all about, we get more on Starfire, we get a little bit on Dick and Quarry, and like Donna.
And it's one and done.
And issue, like it's not stretched out, very tightly paced. We get sort of more on like Donna Troy and Starfire's friendship, like how they're best friends and like all the stuff. Like it's just a really solid. And the next issue, like Starfire's not in it because she's like taking some time off, and it's like Kid Flash centric. It introduces Francis Kane Magenta, like who becomes long-term sort of girlfriend / foil for Wally West, like single issue. And it ties into Dr. Polaris, like how she gets her magnetic powers and stuff and becomes a mutant. Oh, they're coming to take you.
I think it might be a fire truck. I'm waiting for my dog to start yelling at it.
But like that would, this kind of, if we got either of those stories now, like Starfire falling in love with the Hive, that would be 6 issues stretched out.
Oh yeah.
The time, even if it was Wolfman and Perez, just because comics are so different. And I don't know, like I feel like so many of the comic characters are just less than now because it's all stretched out, but it also like, I miss status quo. I know this sounds weird, but in comics I miss that, like, even if you're a writer taking over Wonder Woman for like 12 issues, well, Wonder Woman's a bad example because they were always changing her, trying to like reconfigure things. But like
no one can figure her out.
You might get 12 issues on Superman, even in the 80s, where you're the writer, and you could make changes. But at the end of the day, Superman and Lois Lane are still going to be love interest. Jimmy Olsen is still, like, you couldn't kill any of those characters. You couldn't do something radical to change them without it being a major event. And it had to be like even when Dick Grayson became Nightwing, like that was after months and months and months of like
setup.
yeah, well also months and months and months of Marv Wolfman and George Perez fighting with the Batman editors over Dick Grayson. Like they wanted Starfire and Robin to be together a lot sooner, but the Batman team didn't want that. He only became Nightwing so that Wolfman and Perez could have control over Dick Grayson. Like that was the reason, because they kept running into limitations as to what they could and could not do with Dick Grayson in the Titans. And Titans was outselling Batman at the time. So what they
was selling
decided,
most things at the time.
yeah, and so they were like, well, how about this? What if he's no longer Robin and we bring in a new Robin? And so that's how we got Jason Todd, was because they wanted Dick Grayson over, and yeah, they wanted control editorially of Grayson over in Titans. It's the only reason we ever got Nightwing, because they were like, the fans want him and Starfire as a couple. So.
And the funny thing is, we did, but like now I look back, I'm like, I know there's still some stands for them, but I'm like,
I'm still right.
Team Barbara.
I'm not yeah, no. It's too gross.
Love Barbara.
It's incestuous.
It was at the time, but now I'm like, well, they're very much peers.
It is now, after decades of retrocons and after them, sticking her in a wheelchair because Alan Moore is like, I have an idea.
What if we didn't fridge her, but we wheelchaired her?
Yeah, we put her in a wheelchair instead, and then had the Joker assault her so that Batman can be a better hero.
Super. Just great. Great stuff. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, Alan Moore. I'm so glad you're somewhere in the English countryside doing chaos magic in your mansion, complaining about how the comic book industry ruined you while you're benefiting from all the royalties.
Yeah, like you're still collecting them checks, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. He's quick to complain about everything DC did to him while he still cashes those checks. So,
Yeah, they still have to call him whenever they're like, hey, we're making Watchmen figures. He's like, cha-ching.
He's like, I hate it. It's the worst. You've ruined it. You've destroyed my artistic integrity. And then he cashes the check. So
it is very there's something to be said about like when Hollywood now goes after like the young directors versus like relying on the old talents. And at first I'm all like, no, experience and they're legends and whatever. But it's like you look at the Lucases, the Spielbergs, and the Moores and like all of it, and you're like, yeah, you kind of were hot shit early on, and then since then, I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna say, like this is an unpopular. I've never been a huge Spielberg fan. Jaws is good.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is good, but that's like 50% George Lucas at least.
Who was also good at the time. And it's not since.
Raiders of the Lost Ark remains, in my opinion, a solid movie. But in the day, and this is a controversial opinion, I didn't care for Temple of Doom or Last Crusade. The only Indiana Jones movie I actually liked was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I like. I really didn't like Last Crusade. Really didn't like it, and then
didn't either.
I think Temple of Doom was more just sort of like. It's kind of like Return of the Jedi, where there's some bits I really like, but as a whole, like to actually sit down and watch the whole thing front to back, I'm like, no, thank you.
I think for me, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Temple of Doom was 1984 though, and it's really important for everyone to understand that for me, 1984 was Gremlins. I wanted to be when I was 10, and Phoebe Cates in Gremlins was like my summer. And what else was 1984? Friday the 13th, the final chapter came out. That was my first scary movie that my uncle took me to a theater to see. So like I got to go see Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So like Firestarter came out that year. So like 1984 for me was sort of the difference between this is kid stuff and becoming a weird teenager that liked horror movies. So like
Mhm.
Gremlins is sort of in that in between place, and Temple of Doom was just like, how do you go from Marion Ravenwood to like streaking, screamy, shrill blonde? You don't. You just don't.
Well, you marry the director. I was going to say something else, but
Well, it's funny because like they didn't technically get married until years later, right? And like they often
well,
like
that's why.
nothing happened during the filming. But also, if you look at the Mean Spirited, and this makes perfect sense when you rewatch Temple of Doom. Last time I rewatched it recently, I'm like, I'm going to give it a second chance, and it didn't help. But also, if you know the context, whenever Spielberg and Lucas were doing Temple of Doom, they were both going through really bitter divorces. Like Marshall Lucas and George Lucas were getting divorced during the making of Temple of Doom. Spielberg and Amy Irving didn't end up getting divorced for another year or two after Temple of Doom, but they were having severe problems in their marriage already. They, I think, got married after Temple of Doom, maybe. So it was even one of those things where they partially got married because to try to fix their issues because she was going to have a baby or something.
Oh,
So
God,
if it's such a
you know what?
weird, and
I'm just always like, I know these people where they're like, do you know what'll fix a horrible relationship? A baby. And you're like, I don't think you know what that means.
I don't know if
you
it
don't
was
know what the
that
words you're
the
saying.
baby would fix the relationship. I think the relationship was dissolving, and then she was going to have a baby, so things changed a little. So, I mean, we'll never know for sure the timeline of it, but it's all very sus.
We should get them on the phone right now. Call in. We'll figure it out.
Oh, I bet
We
Amy
can figure it
Irving.
out.
Once the NDA expires, I bet Amy Irving has stories.
Ooh, yeah, that's a book I'd read.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I know those movies have their fans. I know people love them. I'm happy for them. I'm glad you found a movie that you vibe with that's weirdly racist and gross. But hey, you know, good for you.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm like, yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark is still spectacular. Here we go. Such a good movie, even with all the the fascisty stuff.
Well, I mean, the point is though, it's, you know, like the fascisty stuff is like completely evil. Like there's no like both sides have their problem.
Yeah, right. Remember those days? Oh my God.
I remember. But yeah, so it's just, you know, and Raiders of the Lost Ark is just a fun. I don't think it needed sequels is I think the problem. I think it was sequel-itis struck. All right, let me take a look really quick. We are behind on chat, and that's fine.
That's fine.
All right. Good morning. Brick something is here.
Hey.
John Williams is a big part, in my opinion, of the success of Steven Spielberg. I think there's no questioning his scores, and I think some of those scores have made some movies, but I like, in theory, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's such a long there's like such a preponderance of like things happening in that movie that by the time you get to the aliens, you're so bored. Let's see, what else did Spielberg do? Like Schindler's List is a very well made and a very good movie. It's just I couldn't watch it more than once because it's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah, you have to be the right mind frame for it.
What else did Spielberg do? Yeah.
But he's not done anything since then. I mean, like you were like War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and what was the other one? Not the Minority Report, something like that.
He did that AI movie where he took over Kubrick, which is not one of my favorite directors in any existence. I'm not a fan of Kubrick either. I find his movies boring, tedious, and dull. And if you say that to the right kind of person, they lose their shit. Like, especially when somebody's like, Clockwork Orange is one of my favorite movies, then I'm like, I find Kubrick boring, preposterous, and pretentious. And
I quite like Kubrick because I love 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a very boring movie, admittedly, but like it's that thing like he is very boring, and like to say that it's my favorite movie. I don't know. It's not something I turn it on every few years, but I mean, it's not something like Transformers or Aliens or Terminator 2. Like, it's not in the rotation that I'm like, Craven 2001. Like, I've got 3 hours of watching a space shuttle land. Like, I don't have it in me.
Oh, Brick loves The Last Crusade, and I love that for you, Brick.
Yeah, I see why. Like, I understand why, but it was just like
I know why people like it. It's just not for me. I think it's a
No.
boy movie. Like, you get young River Phoenix being Indiana Jones, and then the Hat, and then Sean Connery, and
Was that the movie where he got his entire origin story in like under 5 minutes on a train?
yeah, and a
That was the one.
credits. Yeah, if it
Oh
were
my
a
God,
horror
like he
movie,
got the scar, he got the whip, he got the hat, he got everything in like a
Yeah.
5 minute span. I'm like, I wish my whole origin story was that quick. Like, it was insane.
all right, and really quick, there's some supernatural discourse. So here's a fun fact
Oh,
for
I'm down with
everyone. I didn't watch Supernatural forever. And then I heard like we were doing 2 more seasons and it ends. So I watched Supernatural from the first episode and caught up in time to catch the last season as in real time. And I will
That's
say
like,
that if you watch it over the 15 years ish that it was coming out, like I can see why you would say that. But as somebody who watched them all within like a year and a half, 2 years, there are some rough spots in there, and it also gets really tedious watching it sort of marathon style with how many times each of the boys dies and then comes back. And also it gets
yeah,
super weird for me with Supernatural where they get to we've been reading the fanfic and we know that they're weirdos like shipping these 2 boys together, and we're going to play into that
yeah.
with a wink and a
What was
nudge.
it
And
like?
I find, yeah.
I think it was like Jensen Ackles was very much against Dean and Castiel getting together, and I guess it was basically like Castiel's very last scene. They kind of almost like like David Prowse doing kind of thing. They almost kind of like snuck in this thing at the very end. They were like, "Surprise, gay!" Like, and they were like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
it was
The
strange.
factor was very much for it, so.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. I came into it late, and I watched on DVD through Zip, which was sort of the pre-Netflix getting CDs in the mail kind of thing. So I watched that I caught up to season 3, I think it was, and that's probably around the first death, maybe. I forgot which one it was. And I was like, this is good. But again, like we're saying, there's sort of the season long arc, and then there's the fluff episodes, like X-Files. And I like the fluff one. I like when they were going through Americana monsters. They were like, here's the Wendigo, here's whatever. And then I kind of didn't really care about the actual the B plot, or I guess the A plot going through the whole season. I'm like, I didn't care.
My favorite part, watching it marathon style that way, is how you can pick out the fact that they're using the same 3 towns and the same 3 like film studio streets in like Canada and Vancouver as like, you know, like we're in Louisiana and it's like that's the same convenience store just redressed that you used 3 episodes ago in Ohio.
Oh, completely. And the worst thing is, like, I lived there for a long time, and so like between like all of them, I mean, like Smallville, Battlestar, Supernatural, X-Files, everything. I mean, like even like alleyways, even streets. Like I'm like I walk there every day to work. Like just like like I saw the library in every season all the time. Like it was just constantly in your face, and I'm like, this kind of takes me out a little bit.
Well, that's what's funny, like, whenever I go to Los Angeles, like, because so much of Los Angeles has been used on television. Like, when I go, I spend the entire time I'm in, well, the first few days are fine. And then if I'm there longer than 4 to 5 days, by this 5th to 6th day, I enter this perpetual state of deja vu because you've seen everything in LA at some point, like, as the background for a TV show. But because of the way they film, like they film on one side of the street for like the beginning of the chase, and then they just sort of flip to the other side of the street to film like the rest of the chase, and then edit it so it looks like it's across the city. So it's like it's this weird deja vu dream state for me once I get past the excitement of being back in Los Angeles. I'm like, this is why so many people in the city have to do cocaine constantly.
Yeah, that's like I'm like, how do I word this so I don't talk to myself exactly? So I'm in Toronto, people know this, but like
Mhm.
there's a pretty popular Canadian show that features, is it my building? I think it's my building. In it. And so these fan groups have actually like sent me all these letters. They sent me like Tim Hortons gift cards, and they're like, we think your apartment is the one from the show. And I'm like, it's not, because that's a studio. That's a set.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that monstrous apartment that's in the show could not physically fit in here. But they're
Right.
sending me like floor plans of the building, and I'm like, how did you get this? Like, it's really, and they don't know my name. They're just looking for like tenant. They're just want like me to
Yeah.
host tours for the show, and I'm like,
Yeah.
leave me alone. But I do cash out all their gift cards they send me. So thanks
Well,
for
of
watching.
course.
Thank you.
Thank you. You
Thanks
gotta
so
make
much for
them
your
hungry.
kind generations. I don't like Tim Hortons, but it's good to have in a crunch.
You never know when like you need somebody to leave the apartment in the morning after Pride, and you're like, hi, here's well, you run down to gift Tim Hortons. Here's like, get us some coffee, and then you lock the door and you pretend like you don't know who they are afterwards.
This sounds like a funny idea, but like this is what I do for on Grinder. I'm like, hey, can you come over? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so I want like double Big Mac, large coffee, give me some hash browns. Like I'll do like an order. I want like, give me the newest magazine, OK magazine, give me some butter. Like I'm out of milk. Like, it's a full grocery run. I'm like, I'm not leaving the house. Okay, so
It's
before you come.
cheaper. Yeah,
Yeah.
before you here.
Work harder, not
So-
smarter.
Also, I keep missing it. Where's it at? Black Phoenix is here. Hello, Black Phoenix, which
Hey.
means
Oh.
yeah, Alex is a member. So.
Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
I quit.
Such a good performance from her. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, I got like such a good performance out of her.
It's like just goosebumps every time.
Oh, Zodiac.
Okay, so
Yeah,
where's this?
I've been to some of those filming scenes. Brick. When I go to San Francisco, I go to Zodiac Killer kill sites. So anyway, did you
All right,
finish
and
it?
then so yeah, other ones come along. I'm trying to like do different colors because I don't know. I've forgotten how to shade today, so
Oh,
I'm just
no.
like, all right, let's try to salvage this.
You've forgotten how to shade. It's really easy. Like, really? Those?
Mm.
Mm.
That top of those shoes. Mm.
My favorite shade is one of my all-time favorite moments of shade is in the Kids in the Hall brain candy at the very end, where he's like, we didn't make the pill because you're having a bad day, or you missed your bus, or you don't look good in a yellow hat. And as the camera pans by right after, it's a girl standing there in a yellow hat, and he just goes and puts her. It's perfect.
It's such a weird movie. I remember because I didn't think a Kids in the Hall movie would fly, because I'm like, it's very much a 22-minute kind of formula,
Yeah.
almost like Monty Python. Like although
Yeah.
granted, Monty Python had a few good movies. But I remember being an opening night for Kids in the Hall, just like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that was the way to go.
It was a much better rental, I think.
Yeah.
Because I went and saw it at the theater for like the 3 seconds it was there. And I quite enjoyed it, but I also got why it became, it's a rental. There's some things I don't think, and this isn't against the Kids in the Hall. I think they probably have a good movie in them. I just don't think that was it. I think
No.
in the current market where you could do a crowdfund, I think they could actually write a movie that was 100% what they wanted it to be without having to cater to a studio.
Well,
'cause
that's for debate too, because they had a revival a couple of years ago. I think it was like pandemic actually. They had a full season. Well, I would say full season, like 8 or 9 episodes kind of thing. But there's some good things in it. But I mean, like, yeah. Were you the original? No.
Mm-mm. No, it had its moments. There's some good stuff. I was definitely like after it, like
Mhm.
ready for more episodes. But I think some of it is, and this is going to be, I mean, I'm old, so I can say this. I think a lot of it,
Mhm.
though, is as you get older, like, I don't know that, especially as you get older and richer in the case of the Kids in the Hall, I think so much of the Kids in the Hall original humor comes from sort of being young and broke. And I find in general, as comedians especially get successful and they get money, like, their ability to write biting comedy seems to suffer. Like, I think you have to have a certain struggle and a certain strife in your life to do really good comedy. And I think
Well,
Kids in
that's
the
part of
Hall
it too.
always
Like,
comes from that.
yeah. Well, let's talk about this last night to a friend where like we're like, oh, yay, equality and whatever, but like at the same time too, I'm kind of like, part of me misses the old days where we were counterculture and in secret back rooms and we literally like had a whole culture like outside of society that wasn't on RuPaul's Drag Race. So it was kind of a nice thing to be outsiders. There's a certain
Mhm.
romanticism to it, despite the police beatings. There was a nice like other
Right.
part to it too, and they very much came from that. Then they came from like the Toronto like scene where the cops were constantly like on our ass kind of thing. So
Yeah.
in many ways, in this, so there's something to be said about that where it's all like they're rich and it's a different audience. Time has passed. Time has passed, and it is not. You
Right.
can't replicate the exact moment of that time.
Well, and it's, interesting too, speaking sort of drag, like I used to go to a lot of drag shows in Louisiana and Texas, right? Back in the
Hmm.
90s when it
It
was
was
very, the idea of
trashy.
RuPaul's Drag is never going to happen. Like
No.
there's never a world where in the 90s anyone could have imagined a world where, you know, sort of Helen and Kyle are picking their favorite drag queens, right? And
Hmm.
rooting for them and buying merch and going to Drag Fest and stuff like that.
Also, those
Um,
queens going on to become like franchises unto themselves. Like you get your
yeah,
Alyssa Edwards and Trixie Mattel's and Bob the
right,
Drag Queens becoming their own empire of themselves, and you're like, what?
right.
Like, again,
A
they're
reality,
rich too.
right? A reality where, yeah, exactly. A reality where like anyone doing drag would ever be able to do it full time without owning the bar, right? Like that
Yeah.
used to be you bought the bar and then like your drag, you could do drag because you now own the bar and it's your place. And but so it's like, and again it's sort of the commercialization of everything, but also like it's a weird thing because you like seeing especially oppressed communities having success like that and being able to sort of make money doing this thing that was once just completely illegal everywhere. But
Hmm.
also there's sort of something that feels, like I would never go see a RuPaul Drag Race like show in a
Like
like an
show.
arena or whatever. Like I would never go to that.
No.
Um, I would still go to a small local, like if I ever make it to Idaho, I'm going to wherever Janessa has her show. Like I'll go see,
Yeah.
the scrappy local, you know. So I don't know, like
Also,
it's a
but also
really
too, you kind of want the classic, and that's again maybe it's the old stalking kind of thing, and again romanticizing the past kind of thing. But like also too, like drag queens were sort of like the pit bulls of the community, where
mm,
if there was trouble, any trouble, every drag queen, every bear, every leather guy was
yeah,
downstairs immediately, and trouble was
yeah,
gone, and I mean gone, like
right.
real quick. So I kind of see these like Instagram, TikTok queens go on. They've never spoke. It seems like they've never spoken to a human in their life. They've literally never hosted a night. They've never gone to a bar fight.
Mm.
They've never like actually had left their bedrooms. And I'm like, I don't want this. Like,
I think
there's enough
I
makeup
think
tutorials out there. Like,
yeah. I think Janessa was saying it's called a bedroom queen because they've only ever
yep,
done it on the internet in a highly
yep,
controlled reality or something like that. So
yeah. Like you
and
can
they
edit.
and
You
again,
can.
but that's a double-edged sword, right? Because if you are someplace, say like Idaho or some really tiny small town and you want to do drag and it's not safe, obviously, like, the internet has opened that up. So it's kind of like, I don't know, to my thinking, it's like, one, there are a lot of people who get to do this stuff now that never would have had the opportunity to even know it existed. But also, like, you sort of lose, I think it's partly the community used to be with all of it. And it's also like that nerd culture, right? It used to be you had to go to the comic shop to buy your comics. And because there was no sort of other option than that or a newsstand, you went to the comic shop, you could meet other nerds, you know, like with toy hunting, like I would meet people in the toy aisle, you know, like, you know, you start running into the same 5 or 6 people also on toy
But
hunt.
still,
And then, like,
you feel that shame. You're like, you see the person, you're like, I see
right.
you. I see you not buying for your niece. Like, I get you. I get you.
And I'm here too. And then sometimes you would talk to them and like, it
But then
would
you
be
walk
like,
away and
oh,
you're like, what a nerd. Like, what a dweeb.
sometimes, yeah. But also sometimes you would make a connection and they'd be like, oh, this Walmart often will have stuff. And you'll be like, oh, well, this Target, you know, so then
And
you
then you
sort
would
of make
like,
these,
then they would like touch your penises together. That's how mine went anyway.
yeah, I think that would be specific to you. But
Okay, well, I thought it was
I'll
universal,
trust
but
you.
fine. Call me a liar. Fine, fine. Glad I came today.
Hey, different strokes for different folks.
the, yeah, no, I mean, and I get that too because like, if you were to be a drag queen back in the day, you had to be a brawler, you had to be a bouncer, like Genesis says. You had to, and also you had to like be a comedy queen, be an entertainer, be a lip syncer, be a dancer. Like you had to do all these things. You had to sew because it's not like you could take this down to like you know the tailor down the street. You know,
And Janessa even, I see, I summoned Janessa. Huzzah!
we said her name three times in a mirror.
Janessa 3 times and she shows up and calls you a bitch and then beats somebody up that gets out of line as intended.
As one do.
And
I mean,
right
but that's the nice thing too, where like, you know, if you do have now if queens want to like, you know, get into drag and they want to do drag and they want to do it on camera in their bedroom, they can. They don't have to like get into a fist fight over it, which is maybe that's nice. Maybe that's a nice thing.
Well, yeah, that's why I think
what was I gonna
say? There's a safety. There's safety now, right? Where you don't have to necessarily go into the city and I don't, but also like I feel like to a degree there's a loss of community. I don't know. It's
yeah, there's a loss of edge there too that I kind of
the internet is
missed.
so good and social media is so good about some things and then there are things we lose once we have to once we move everything online, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, question.
Which is ironic.
Blah, blah, blah.
You and I would only know each other because we're friends, but we only are friends because of the internet. So it's this weirdness, guys. All of you in the chat, I only know all of you because of YouTube, and yeah, I don't know. What do you do?
That's true too. Yeah, so like Brick's question, longer question, but yeah, there was it's very like it's very One Piecey. I never watched the cartoon or read the books or the manga or whatever, but like the I watched the show and that show's very draggy. Like even like the big burly straight characters are doing this kind of like Smoke or doing the straight drag of sorts. I quite like it, but yeah, it was true. Like I mean, you heard a scream, you heard like a pickup truck squeal, everybody's downstairs immediately, like in under 10 seconds. And so you see like just like the most like hairy, huge dudes of your life next to the hairiest, huge women of your life, just beating the crap out of somebody.
Really quick, I want to chat, speak to this, Brick. Sorry, words are hard. The kids are all right and all that. I maintain hope. I also am feeling really hopeful because even on YouTube, I'm starting to see a lot of young people start talking about analog media, finger quote, like they're wanting to buy Blu-rays and DVDs and physical books again. And I've seen a lot of younger people making content where they're buying physical comic books. So, and I have a friend who teaches in a more rural area than Brick does, for instance, and she's been saying that they're all starting to get really tired of everything being on a computer. their phone. Let's be more precise, their tablet or their phone, and that they're actually starting to want physical books that they can hold, that they can read, that they can save their place in. So I've started. I never fully embraced digital books or comics at all. And I haven't fully embraced not owning things, as obviously. I think as collectors are in a special time warp or whatever with it. But what I have noticed is even the kids are starting to want to do analog stuff and own things and have CDs even. As it becomes harder and harder to navigate which streaming service has your stuff. Even if you've paid for stuff, you can't always stream it depending on rights. So I'm hoping.
Also, I mean, we've been through things where I've bought movies through now defunct or absorbed or bankrupted companies that I'm like, well, I don't know where that is. Or like I don't have that account anymore, or that account's linked to an old email address, or that company is now part of Sony, or I don't know, like there's all these things I'm like, I just lost track of it. So like I'm very much cognizant of buying digital copies. I don't do that anymore. I'll subscribe. But even the subscriptions, people are trying to get away from that because you're like, I just want the thing. And I don't want to have to chase. Even like, I mean, Doctor Who right now is a perfect example. Like they sort of like they're not doing anymore, but now they're like we ain't doing nothing. Like we're sitting on this. So it's gonna be a kind of a bear to see like that pop back up on streaming, and you're like, well, I want to watch it now, and not to be like that temper tantrum having man child, but I was like, if I had the DVDs, this wouldn't be an issue, would it?
Well, and that's sort of I run into, because I like a lot of the old horror stuff, right? And every year for Halloween, I watch all the Halloween movies and all of the Friday the 13th, and every year it's like, and I have friends back home in Louisiana from high school that we will get online and try to watch them together, right? And like trying to find them streaming online was a pain. So what I eventually did is I found a program where I can stream from my laptop or my computer, and then they can watch whatever I'm watching. So I have it all on physical media now. And that way I just put it on my computer and hit play, and then we all watch and chat. So it's still technically online, but online.
I need to try that because I kind of got frustrated and fed up because I mean, like I'm not a big horror person, but I was like, around spooky season, and not tax season, but spooky season. I'm like, I wouldn't mind doing like a binge of Friday or Halloween or Nightmare. And I got derailed immediately because I had to like search for Nightmare on Elm Street 1. I forget what it was even on at the time. And then number 2, the Secret Gay one it was nowhere, like absolutely nowhere. They were like, you could buy for like $30 on Amazon. I'm like, you can kiss my ass. So I didn't do that. And
I've got
but I'm like, what do I do? Like, I want to watch these things, but like, what do I do?
Well, I hopefully this year for spooky season, I'm going to do some watch-alongs like that, using my physical media. So when that happens, I will reach out, and I want to do one for channel members. Maybe not spooky season specific, but soonish, so that we can all just sort of hang out. But I'm going to organize some Halloween stuff in general for us to sort of maybe on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, and we can all hang out. And technically it's still watching it on our devices, but it's not like through Netflix or whatever. It would be streaming from my desktop. So figure it out. Do a horror night.
That's her streaming from my lap, and I'm like, woo, what kind of movie is this?
Right? It's when Allison finally gets OnlyFans.
100%. I'm like, your Patreon's a little spicier than most.
Right? Yeah, no. I don't know that I could ever get over my crippling performance issues to do.
Yeah, kind of every now and then I'm like, especially when there's like a lot of toys coming, like right now, I'm like, could I hook? Could I sell feet? And then I'm like, what are the buyers? Like, Is
I
there enough to
watched-
actually like maintain a lifestyle here? Like, I don't know.
There was a series on TikTok a few weeks back where this lady was like, so you want to sell your feet pictures to make extra money? Here's how you did it. And I did watch them. But I also am like, I'm so old at this point. Nobody wants to look at my old feet. So
There's
I
always
think-
like there's always someone, but I mean, for you to actually make money, I mean, like it's almost like the cake farting and all that stuff. Like there's there's the juggernauts of the biz, and people are the default.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to and almost frankly like YouTube, I mean, like if you're like I'm going to start an action figure channel, like good luck to you. But it's just you are going to be overshadowed by everyone else. Not me, but
back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when eBay was still a little bit of a wild, it was still a little bit unhinged. I made money selling used underwear, my own underwear, and then my boyfriend's underwear, and his fiance's underwear.
Yeah, it's mistress.
Yeah, well, I was the side piece. That's a story for a different stream, but
the Patreon, the spicy Patreon.
well, I don't know if I'm gonna wait until at least one of those people dies before I tell those full stories, because
so you're doing like do the Carrie Fisher thing and do like an autobiography and then drop dead like 5 minutes later. Like, here's my torrid affair with Harrison Ford. Anyway, bye. Like, that was wild.
Oh my god. Yeah, right. Well, what was wild was by the time the audiobook arrived, she had passed, and the audiobook is her, and then she has Billy, her daughter, do all of the younger Carrie parts in the audiobook.
Oh my god.
It was very like, it was very Carrie Fisher. Like, if my life wasn't funny, it would just be true. And it was very much one of those moments where I'm like, this is very Carrie Fisher, how she has done this.
Yeah,
Like,
and also I'm sure her daughter at that point's like, yep, I get it. Okay, I've got lightning happening now, thunder. Over.
jeez, what's happening in Toronto?
It's FIFA here right now, so that's I don't give a crap at all. Like rain on them for all I care.
It's all boots. Oh,
Good Lord.
let's see.
Okay.
Oh, and Met with Card is here. Was Met with Card here earlier? I can't remember. Sure.
Bring out the
Met with
olive.
Card's a member.
Bring out the olive. Bring out the olive.
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Oh boy. It pains me.
Oh.
I don't even know why. I'm just really curmudgeon-y. Like I'm just like
It's extra fun to do that when you're actually on screen. I don't know why.
like throw my shit across the room. Yeah, like, I know you can see backstage, but
Oh my god.
oh god.
I don't know. I should be nicer, but
This is part of your lore now, I think. Is that I'm just like the curmudgeon-y.
It really is. Like, it's funny. Somebody mentioned it. I was on a stream somewhere, and I was mentioning, oh, I have this thing, and they were like, and Andrew hates it. It was in the chat that they said that, but it just cracks me up that like part of the lore now is
just be having a freak out. I love that for me.
Yeah, right. It's perfect to be. Let's be honest. It's just it's the kind of comedy you can't plan. So and also Mint with Card, welcome. And Mint with Card will be here with me in a couple weeks. I think he's my first guest when I get back from my 2 weeks off. And I think we're coloring Jabberjaw. I believe that's what we had decided on. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat. Mint with Card.
What's Jabberjaw? I don't think I got it when I was younger.
It's a 1970s kind of barbarian cartoon, the giant shark.
Yep. Yeah. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that guy. Yep.
Yeah. For some reason, he has like a new. They have like a new. He has. There's like a New Yorkish accent to like the song, so it's like jabba 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 jaw. It's like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That rings a bell.
I don't know why there's a New York accent thing happening for the theme song, but there is, and you just have to go with it.
He's from the same hometown as Todd McFarlane. It's just don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. That was one. It's funny because it's not a cartoon that was on long, but because it was on in syndication for a while and it was on Cartoon Network, the Cartoon Express, I watched it a lot more than I watched it way more than people watched it when it was first on network television.
Oh, 100%.
But I
Well, that's like, I mean, I've been watching Harvey Birdman recently, and I'm like, I remember these characters more from Birdman than I do from from actual Birdman. Like,
yeah.
Like I think I saw them all once, kind of thing. Like there was just so many Hanna-Barbera shows that were all all the same that like they all kind of blend together. And so like at some point you're just like it's all kind of a washed over memory blob.
Well, it's kind of like Filmation for me. It's like outside of like Fat Albert and He-Man and She-Ra, the rest of it just all kind of blurs together.
Yeah.
And it's like even like Flash Gordon and Black Star, so much of that looks like what they use for He-Man and She-Ra that it all just kind of blurs together. And I get that, you know, this part of that is how Filmation and Hanna-Barbera was able to animate things so quickly. And I'm glad that we got plenty of that content as a kid, but also it just kind of ends up being, I think there's some stuff that would have been way more memorable if they had, you know, we had lived in a world where they could have taken more time with that animation.
Well, so they only had so many designs. I mean, was it Princess Allura from Flash Gordon is Tila. Like, it's her. like the same boob size, the same the same boots. Like it's exactly her.
They reused the same model all the time, you know, and they obviously had a house style for the animation because everyone looks alike outside of Fat Albert. But
yeah, and I guess like the Ghostbusters, but even them, like I mean, there's some still a house style.
Yeah, and you know, some of that is so you could easily, I guess, trace everything.
Yeah, they love doing that.
Yeah. So let's say. Excellent. I was right. I sent a couple options for mints with card. I keep wanting to. Oh, whoa. Brick, welcome.
Well.
Brick has become.
Oh God! No.
Bring out the off! Bring out the off! Bring out the off!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
The horror, the excitement when I'm like, I've got a new member, and then the horror as you realize what that meant.
And then I unsubbed you while during that break. Like, on all platforms. Like you're just out of my feed now. Like you've been blocked on Instagram.
And Quentin loved the Motu movie. I had a lot of fun. I have only seen it once so far, but I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, there's a junkie theater near me. There's a lot of junkie theaters near me, but there's like the old school, like old guy playing piano, sticky floors, like very level seating, the seats creak, like all that. And I'm like, I want to go there and watch it because I always traditionally would watch a Star Wars movie there when it came out. Yeah, because it's like the feeling, like the feels from the 70s and 80s that I was like, I want that. So I think it's at my junkie theater now, and it's like $5, which is not going to really help.
Yeah,
Master's terrible box office, but I'm like, I want to go.
It's actually, what's funny is it's doing all right. Like it ended its opening weekend with like 52 million. Oh no, 51 million, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then so far this weekend, it's up to like 82 million. So like
that's
word of mouth, like it made on Tuesday, which is like when a lot of theaters do like half priced. It made like $3 or $4 million total that day at half price. So like, I think it's going to be a word of mouth movie. Also, we all need to remember, especially the doomers who are like, it's over, it's done. Amazon originally didn't even plan a theatrical release. This was originally planned to go straight to Amazon. And it was as it was getting made that I think they said, oh, well, let's go ahead and send this to theaters. So so anything it makes at box office is beyond, which is why you keep hearing these interviews where Amazon's like, we're really happy with how it's performing. And that's because they never originally intended it to go to a theater. So anything they make theatrically is above and beyond what they originally expected. So,
well, I mean, think of like, I mean, the movie of the past year. I think it's actually like it's coming up on. It might be this weekend. It might have been this weekend, or it might be next weekend. But like K-pop Demon Hunters, I mean, that was never meant for theaters. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was never meant. It should have gone.
Right.
Because it was damn good, but it's like it was sort of like casually dropped on Netflix, and it's been in the top 5 usually, if not the top 10 for every week since. And I mean, like that's by their metrics, an out of control success.
Yeah,
they didn't make much money off of it. But that said, now that the marketing machine's kicked in, now that the merch is starting to pour out, now they're going to start making money off of it. Because that's the thing too. Like whenever you see GDL, they're like you have all these like grown straight men being like, I want that K-pop doll. I want those figures. I want all the like all the Baja Boys. I want everything. I'm like, there's something here. Like,
well, I think, and I'm excited by K-pop Demon. I've not watched it yet. I only know of it because of
the success.
Seeing the toys. Right, it's successful. I saw, and Mint with Card as part of sent me a care package for my birthday, and one of the things he sent was a K-pop Demon Hunter coloring book. And like I don't know anything about the character, so it's going to be fun when I'm going to scan some pages to clean up and print out on nicer paper, because it is on kids coloring book paper, as it should be, so that the kids can have it. But it was funny because I was flipping through it and I don't know any of the characters, so I'm just responding to like the looks, the designs. And I realize it's going to be really fun when I do get it scanned and, some pages cleaned up and printed. It's going to be really fun because I'm going to watch it then as finger quote research, but I'm going to get to sort of discover it as so it's just, I don't know. Obviously I like all these, nostalgia brands and whatnot. I went and saw Grogu and The Mandalorian 7 times. I've got my 7th viewing on Friday.
Did you really? I haven't gone once yet.
Every Star Wars movie theatrically 7 times. I have since.
I did, except for Solo and this, and I kind of just said like, I'm going to watch them for sure, but it's going to be probably pirated if anything.
I will say about Grogu and The Mandalorian, it was difficult to do all 7, and I say that only because I've only watched the Mandalorian shows once all the way through them. So. But I wasn't going to try to watch all 3 seasons, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, like everything you kind of needed to see.
Hold on.
7 times.
It sounds like you don't have to. Like people are saying that like you could watch nothing. Like it's fine.
And that is how I felt watching. It helps if you've watched stuff because it makes a little bit more sense. But I 100% agree. Like if you've never watched any of the Grogu and Mandalorian stuff, like you could still enjoy the movie. I wish that they were advertising that a little bit more because it feels like maybe calling it The Mandalorian and Grogu makes it harder for people to get that point. I do also feel like to a degree it could have worked as 2 really strong episodes of The Mandalorian's TV show. So it's a weird thing where it's like, and the more, when I was doing my 7th viewing of it, I very much was like, I don't know that this needed to be a movie, you guys. But at the same time,
sometimes
it's Star Wars,
I'm kind of looking forward to Starfighter because there's like some like rumors that are like a little more expanded universe. That I might like. I'm just hoping that Ryan Gosling filmed this before he like got all the filler. We'll see what happens there.
Oh, poor Ryan Gosling.
It's really poor Rich Gosling. Yeah, tough to be you.
Well, that means he's aging badly, though. Like anytime they start doing that to their face, it means something in the aging process has gone awry for them, even if it's only in their own.
It's all in your own head. Every time someone, unless you're a Kardashian who like sort of does this for the optics and for the money making because you don't do anything else. Like there's that, but like, yeah, men. It's so funny too because like women have had so many more decades of plastic surgery. It's like experimentation, seeing what works, what doesn't, but men haven't. So like all these guys, like Bradley Cooper, like they all look like kind of like Ellen DeGeneres, but like hairier. And so it's just like it's a strange phenomenon right now. Like
Yeah.
Zac Efron, same thing. I'm like, what? What have you done? Like,
I think it's it's funny to watch it happening with men, because it's been happening with women like since forever, right?
mhm.
But the reason they all look like Ellen DeGeneres with more hair is it's sort of like trying to go for a youthful thing so they can still get certain roles, and that's really interesting to watch it sort of flip. Like, if you're not a big, rugged, like manly man, like who can do sort of action, like the Jason, what is his name,
Oh,
Stratham.
Statham?
Yeah, the
Jason
hot
Statham.
bald-headed guy from the UK who's like the Rock's love interest in all those Fast and the Furious movies.
It sure is.
I go and watch every just so people know this is part of the Allison lore. My friend Holly and I, before she had a husband and babies, used to go see movies every weekend. And we also both had a job at the same office, so it was easy. And we got it lined up, so we got to go to like 3 of the Fast and the Furious movies back to back. And the first one was the first one that had The Rock in it. And we would go during the day because we both had Fridays off. So we would go opening day, but like an early show. And it was me and her. And there was like a family that sat, we were there first. And that bitch and her husband and their shitty little kids came and sat right in front of us. Even though there was an entire theater and there were better seats in the back, or whatever, they sat next to us. They got really offended though, because there's this big scene between Jason and The Rock where they're like screaming in each other's faces, and I'm like, kiss, kiss. So we start chanting kiss, and they turned around and they were so offended, and they looked at us and like, you could have sat anywhere in this theater. This is your fault. You should have made better choices.
Life choices.
And they did not appreciate. They went and complained, and the manager came in and was like, "Could you just tone it down a little?" I'm like, "Well, they're not gonna kiss, so I mean, like the scene is past. It's fine."
Yeah, like I'm done in every way you can imagine. I'm very done.
He's like 19, probably working his way through college, and he's just like having to put up with these 2 drunken bitches from like an office, because we did sneak in margaritas in our flasks.
Can you not drink in American theaters?
Not most of them. So you just get the large Sprite, and then you dump half of it out in the bathroom, and then you use the bottle that you smuggle in your purse or your bag that has margarita in it. You mix it together. It's refreshing with popcorn and chanting kiss, kiss, kiss. Anyway.
What am I doing? So I'm doing some different color choices here today. So
kids are watching them all in order.
Obi-Wan. That's
Rebels.
That's a tough thing. So imagine telling someone like, how do you watch Star Wars in order? And you're like, oh God, you got to take a few months off work and just power through some things. Right?
I am still a fan of and again, this is just because it's me. I am still a fan of watching Star Wars A New Hope retroactively, Empire and Return of the Jedi first, and then going back and rewatching all the other stuff. I also like for a while there was a if you wanted to watch them finger quote in order, you start with Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. After Empire Strikes Back, you watch Phantom Menace as if it's a flashback about Anakin. And then you watch Return of the Jedi. And I did that right after I got Rogue One on DVD. And for me, that actually was a nice, that kind of worked. The Anakin and Padme thing felt a lot less weird when you meet them in the beginning of Attack of the Clones, when they're both sort of age appropriate.
Yeah.
So, and for everyone wondering about that, like in the original script, they were both supposed to be 12. And then Lucas cast Natalie Portman, who was 14 at the time, so he aged Padme up. And then for some whatever reason, cast a 10-year-old as Anakin.
Oof.
You know, so but canonically, they're only like I think 3 years apart in the story. Like they're even less apart because Padme is, even though she's 14, is supposed to be I think 13 in the movie. It's changed a couple times, I think, as Lucas realized it was problematic.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like, I mean, when you were 15, dating a 16-year-old was like, ooh, like someone's into older men. But like now it's like I date like, you know, people 10 years older than me or younger. And I'm like, who cares? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter at some point.
Padme and Anakin's age gap only feels weird because of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And again, that's for whatever reason he decided to cast younger, and you know, it makes sense why. I mean, at the time, Natalie Portman was like a huge coup. Like she was coming off Leon the Professional, and she was getting really good. Notices she was in that movie Beautiful Girls, which do not rewatch that movie, y'all. That movie comes across quite awful in this day and age. Especially her character. Her character is like, oh my god, what? She
did play that kind of Lolita character quite well for a bit there. So I'm happy she got away from it.
Unlike the actual Lolita movie where it's like all told, that's all like skewed because it's told from the Predator's point of view. Like they actually, I don't know, like I can't even. Just that one did not age well. I didn't necessarily care for it at the time either because it was 100% like, look at all these men having midlife crises in their 30s. Ooh. Whatever.
You look, just wait.
So hard,
just wait.
It's so hard to be a successful white man. Ew.
Oh no. The cards are stacked against me. Oh.
Anyway, sorry. Sorry, that's our woke content for the woke content. We've talked about drag queens. We've talked about talking underwater sharks. Like,
the full spectrum.
Yeah, I saw that. Like the whole Doctor Who thing. I think Doctor Who is difficult though. I've liked all of the most recent Predator stuff where it's like, I don't know. I like all of the Predator stuff that's newer. Like,
yeah, Prey and Badlands loved. And I'm not a Predator fan. Like I like their look. I just don't like Predator movies. But those two, I was like, yeah, like this is some cool stuff.
My favorite OG Predator movie is Predator 2. Like it's slightly in the future. You've got Maria Chiquita Alonso, and she doesn't sing. Which if anyone wants a fun deep dive, go to YouTube and look up Maria Conchita Alonso and her singing career. My favorite video, because I used to watch Telemundo for the soap operas. I don't speak a word of Spanish, but the telenovelas, like they translate, like, you know, like they translate regardless of the language. You can tell by the emoting and the acting and what's happening exactly who is the bitch in those situations. And but they would sometimes show her videos on that because she, you know, it was like Telemundo for American people, like North American English speakers who kind of spoke a little Spanish. And they would put her videos in there. And there's one where she's on the dock playing her guitar, but it's filmed in a way where it's usually you can, in a music video, you can divorce yourself from reality and not notice that there's no amp. But the way this was filmed, there was no way to get around the fact she's playing an electric guitar on a dock over the ocean and her guitar is not plugged in.
Oh, no. Yeah.
And like, there was no way to suspend the disbelief based on how it was filmed. But anyway, she's not actually a bad singer. She's no Selena.
I've been down this rabbit hole of if you're perpetually online like us, you probably know Brenda Dixon and Devin Green's.
Oh my gosh.
Their collab that Brenda did not want a collab of, let's just say.
Oh my god.
Welcome to my home video. It's like they're incredible. incredible. Look up Welcome to My Home, Brenda Dixon. Look up the parody of it.
Yeah.
But I started
The
following
Uzi.
Brenda Dixon now, and also I recommend following Brenda Dixon because she's, and I can't decide if it's she's chosen it or is unwittingly become the parody, but like
Yeah.
all of her photos are touched up, and not in like a Facetune kind of way, like a really poor Photoshop touch
They've,
up
have
of
you
all of her
seen
old
the,
photos.
what is it? There's
Mhm.
like a Roblox doll line where they have like Roblox dolls, and she
Did
looks
they
like
do a
one of the
Roblox
Roblox.
here? Yes,
She
yes.
looks
Like
like,
it's
and
there's
I'm
something
wondering
not
if
right
that's
there.
yeah, I'm wondering if that's the filter she's using. Anyway, yeah,
Honestly,
no, I think I've sent you a few of those because
yeah,
and they
I've gone
always
full in. Like it's so good.
it's
Like,
just, and it shouldn't be, but oh my gosh, like
no, because I kind of get pangs of like Anne Nicole Smith. I'm like, someone send help, but like at the same time,
yeah,
it's come full circle. I just adore it so much, so much.
yeah. But it
It's
does make
so over the
sense
top.
though when she talks about some of her legal issues that she's going through with people like stealing her house, and like apparently she had a really bad divorce where like because technically she was the rich one, her husband got like almost all of her assets. And
Mhm.
so it kind of makes sense why whenever the Devin Green parodies first started hitting, why she would go and copyright strike anyone who like uploaded it, because like she had people take advantage of her. It sounds like from her point of view. I will say
Mhm.
her ex-husband has never put his story out there, so it's always from her point of view. But it does sound like she got very poorly treated during a divorce, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but it is incredible because the thing is too, like those parody videos are what, like 20 years old now at least. Like they're part of
Oh
like the
yeah,
kind of like the
I
GI Joe
remember.
PSAs kind of thing. Like they're up there. But I mean, that
There.
said, I mean, if you say fuzzy mimosa to someone on the street and they know who it is,
Yeah,
you're like, you are my people.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
you get it. Like
yeah. My fuzzy mimosa, my fuzzy mimosa, and then
my
right
cleft
after that was
palate.
yeah,
It's so good.
yeah.
So good.
If you wait, what is the line? Something like if you exercise enough, you'll look like a giant lollipop. Like that's a good one.
Great big head and stick body.
Right.
And that's the goal, isn't it?
Right. Now you go over there and run the camera, little doggy. Mommy's gonna make a lot of money by putting this on the internet. Oh my god.
I know.
Oh
And the original video too, it's like it's her showing her glamorous soap opera money Beverly Hills house. And it's
yeah.
like not an ugly house, but it's not what you would expect. I mean, it's
It's
not
not the height of
this.
it's not the height of good taste. Let's put it that way.
No, and it's also like, look at my walk-in closet. I'm like, I've literally had bigger walk-in closets in
It literally
500
I
square
think
foot apartments.
I
Like,
think yeah. When it also is all IKEA shelves in there, trying to pretend to be like a fancy,
like, I'm
a
something else.
fancy closet, like this. But to be fair, when that video was filmed, like in the late '80s, like IKEA was not as it is now. Like,
No, not at all.
so technically she was ahead of the curve there, but it was still not. Even then, it wasn't expensive. Even in Los Angeles, that was, I think, part of what the appeal was and remains of IKEA. Like, it's not horribly expensive. It isn't
Well,
necessarily
it's more
last
expensive now. It's
I
much
mean,
more expensive recently, which I was like surprised by because I just got like
I
another huge glass cabinet because I have a problem.
yeah.
Um,
But this
and
thing behind me,
there's a lot.
this thing behind me was way more expensive than the IKEA version of this, but it's also a better brand and it has a better
Yeah.
warranty. In 10 to 15 years, whenever it's time to start selling stuff so I can go into a retirement village, that will have a better resale value in whenever we stick it out in the yard for
Yeah, pretty much. Whenever we abandon it all.
I'll be able to get $150 of it instead of like 25 for the IKEA.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm kind of yeah, I don't know. It's like, but the thing is too, like I look at my now retired Detolf cabinets that I'm like, if the dog runs into it, or if some drunken like person, myself or someone else like runs into it, I'm like, well, that's that. But I keep looking at like Wayfair and other places where I'm like, this is comparable in many ways. Like like if I had to do a full replacement, it still would be outrageously expensive. But like, no, it's like it's just going back to IKEA.
Yeah, actually, my glass cabinets were from Wayfair because they were running a deal, but they're like 600. They were normally $600, but it's, Memorial Day weekend. And they sat in boxes for almost a year before Matt finally put them to, but also because of the conversion out here, we had to put some structure up to divide this, it used to be a garage. So it's divided into the library and my office. And the other side of the divider is the library. But so it took a while to get them up. But like I will say, as somebody who once had a couple of the glass cabinets from IKEA, like the extra bit of money, like and over the last few months, I've had someone. I had one of the few IKEA pieces I had left exploded, and it was the one where all the coloring books were set up. I had finally got them all set up, and they were displayed, and it was nice. And I went to bed, and the next morning I came out, and there were coloring books all over the floor, and I'm like, what happened? And then I realized it exploded in the night. And it was just like, well, it is 10 years old at this point. Well, I didn't realize that at first. I was complaining to Matt, and Matt was like, well, when did you get that? I'm like, right after we moved in together. He's like, 10 years ago. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how much did you pay for it? And I was like, well, it was like on sale at IKEA. He was like, and it's IKEA. I was like, yeah. He was like, 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He's like, just go find what you want and order it and just let it go.
Yeah, that's part of the the post lottery win strategy, which any day now, any week now, just kind of tired of this working thing. But I will never bring them up here again. But I do want the retro blasting like setup. I want the custom shelves. I want the lighting. I want it's built into the wall. I want the museum of it all. Like that is the goal. But for a rental, I'm like, nah.
Over here, there are like cabinets and like drawers and stuff that were here from whenever it was the lady who owned it before, when she was building her crafting area. But it's all not useful. So at some point, we're gonna rip all of that out and just build something smarter. Probably next, like, what year is this? 2028. That's the goal, and that'll be my last upgrade out here before
the year of our Lord.
Yeah. Well, next year is Star Wars 50th anniversary. Like, there's so much stuff that I will have on my brain that I can't. The dismantling that will need to happen to do that, like, not in Star Wars 50. Girl.
I'm kind of like thankful, unless Hasbro loses the license and it goes somewhere else, and there's like something like just sort of fresh and new and sexy. I mean, Mattel's coming for everybody's cookies right now, so you never know. But like, I'm kind of good. I got the sort of A New Hope SH Figure Arts little shelf. I really like them. I know some people have some problems. I like that's your problem, not mine. And now, like, between your Stan Solos, between your Funky McClunkies, between now Hasbro doing like Kenner, like retro collection stuff, I'm like, I'd rather build that out because that is timeless, and there's a charm to the jankiness. So like, if I could finally get the collection I wanted back in the day, I'd much rather do that than like start and stop a new collection. And especially with Hasbro, like, I don't care if it's a 50th anniversary, they're going to be like, here's another Mando, here's another Stormtrooper, here's another Clone Trooper, like every year.
My hope for Star Wars 50 next year from Hasbro is that they do vintage collection releases of the original 21 Kenner figures. I have most of them, but I don't have all of them sort of, like, because of the card back being very vintagey. I want like one of each unopened, and then I want one opened. I also hope this is the year they finally give me a proper vintage collection style Death Squad commander with the gray outfit, the bowl helmet. instead of continually giving me an Imperial Navy commander and trying to pretend it's the same thing. It's not.
They're like, we know he's not screen accurate. We don't care. Give us what we want. You've done a droid C-3PO twice. Like, stop it.
Come on. Come on. Come on, people. We
I
need
want, and the thing is, like, what I miss about that, it's not really Power of the Force 2, but it's like Saga Collection or like around the prequel time when they were like still doing like OG figures, but they would do like wackadoo characters from the Cantina and Jabba's Palace. And like characters I've never even seen, and characters that I still, every time I watch those scenes, I'm looking for them. I'm like, who's the bald chick with the big head? Like, I've never seen her in the Cantina, but like, apparently she's there. But I'm like,
she was in there and there's, yeah, she's. I don't know that you can even, and that's what but I like that. I like that you can't always see them on camera. Like some of them were the characters that George was unhappy with, and that's why they refilmed some stuff in Los Angeles in post production, like.
Yeah, they made more aliens, but it's like hard to kind of find. There's a bunch of people there, but I mean that. Yeah, they except for the Tonica sisters at the time. I mean, they made everyone in that Saga collection. They made like Yifont Mon, the giant elephant dude. They made like who's like way too big for that box. Like, I mean, they went so hard, and I'm like, I want that. That's what I thought Black Series was going to be.
And that's what it originally was supposed to be. Like, and then it just. You know, like, and I know we're gonna get some Black Series stuff next year, and that's fine. I've got all of the, except for the Luke X-Wing, I've got all of the 40th anniversary Black Series mint on card for New Hope. So hopefully they will release some of those, and release some new ones on a New Hope card. Like, you know, and then I also, because I'm putting the Star Wars shelves together right now, I'm missing a lot of my vintage Star Wars figures. So I'm gonna, next year, part of the goal is to put together a vintage Kenner figure line within reason. Like, I've got like the repo of Yak Face. I'm fine with the reproduction Yak Face. I'm fine if all I get is you know, like the retro collection versions of some of these. Like, I don't need it to be an actual made in 1970.
Yeah, I want the characters. I don't really so much care about because I'm not planning to resell. Like, if things get dire, I'll do it. But I mean, like, I know exactly what's repro. But like, I think it might have been Stan Solo who did the repro EV99, which I was like, I'll take a new one that works and isn't falling apart versus like a broken one for like $900. Like, that's just dumb. There's no way I'm going to spend that kind of money on a character I don't really care that much about.
Exactly. So let's see. It's Black Series low gray. I think my only actual Black Series figure that I feel like I need is Bespin Princess Leia, like with the proper outfit.
Oh yeah, they did like the the escape one, but not the actual.
Yeah, and that was mainly because other than the boots, they were able to just reuse the Hoth Leia. I mean, they had to do the new head sculpt, so they have a head sculpt for Bespin gown Leia. So. All right, and I just finished this guy. Let's pull this up really quick. Choppa. So
I just finished Mother one. I'm starting Madamo. We'll see if we have time to do even one of her, but I'm doing 2 different colorways and then a player 2 version, who you might recall from somewhere else.
There's Rogue.
Oh yeah. I was wanting to color things wrong, and I was like, I always forget. It's after I finish the stream, I'm like, I was gonna do it wrong, and I was like, today's my day. I've got 3 characters to play with.
All right, let's see. You did Helen, so I'm going to do this guy. What is his name again?
I think wait, who is that?
He's the black guy.
Oh, IQ, which is like, he kind of broke the naming convention, which drove me insane as a sort of undiagnosed autistic person. I was like, he's got to be like Smart One or something. Like, I can't handle this.
And Helen.
and Mom.
Yeah, because that's all that the action figure says is Helen.
Well, that's the worst thing. Like, it was, what's funny, like I remember I saw the show and I was like, loved it, and then they were never in toy stores. Like as far as I could tell, they were in and out, and not because they were selling out. They were just in and out like super quick for some reason. Probably because they were
Mhm.
coming out around, Inhumanoids, Gem,
Yeah.
Visionaries, Centurions. Like I mean, they kind of got lost. But like, I found them at Byway, which was kind of like a general store on the east coast of Canada. Yeah, it's kind of like the last legs coming. So like that was the place where I'd find like Teddy Ruxpin figures or Wizard of
Mm.
Oz or even Cops. There was a lot of Cops there, but I mean, it's like, but they had like everything. Like basically, these things wouldn't sell, and they were rushed off to Byway. So like, I'd go there and be like, oh yeah, and things like love Bionic Six because they were like completely metal, which would have sucked at the time because they were like the paint just peels right
Yeah.
off them, but like they were heavy. Like you'd pick up a car like this little package, and you're like, whoa, like that's a real like
Well,
3
yeah.
pounds of figure.
Well, and that's I think why it's hard to why they're so expensive now is
Yeah.
because finding one that's either mint on card or um mint and complete but with no paint chips is just so hard. Discovered that when I was
Mhm.
looking into picking up. And at some point I will pick some of the women figures up from
And
my shelf.
the accessories are a pain too. My recommendation is like ignore them.
Yeah.
Find, I guess, Helen's strappy chest thing because that really should have gone to Rock One. I forget her name.
Okay.
Jane. I don't know. It's more apropos for her. But the other accessories, I mean, except I what did I get? I had some years ago and they were in pretty decent shape, but I had most of the accessories. And then I got rid of them and I sort of like picked a few up recently. And I was like, aside from sport ones, baseball glove and bat, I'm like, I don't care. Like IQ came with a hat that he never wore once in the cartoon. I'm like, oh no, I don't have that. It's very Malibu Stacy.
I mean, like honestly, I think Bionic Six, in my humble opinion, would be a perfect line for Super 7 to do as part of Reaction Plus.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it would be plastic and not die cast, but at the same time, like
That's fine. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's no one's gonna lose sleep over that, or maybe they would. But
there's always those
clear
three
plastic. Like
people.
yeah, there's always someone like, well, even like the Visionaries, they're like, it has to be holograms. I'm like, honey, it's not. Even if it is, I don't know. I don't know. I think they're gonna do something else with that. But like, if that's the hill you're gonna die on, like, okay.
There is a way to create sort of a holographic effect with like paint apps. But to do that, like that's the thing, like the hologram sticker thing sort of can't happen right now because there's only like one machine I think in the world that can make them now. So it makes it super expensive. That's why we don't see them anymore, is because it's not like in the 80s where like there's an entire factory to make holographic stickers. It just doesn't exist anymore. I think I remember reading an article that said there's only one machine that can do them anywhere now, because it's just a less, like as taste changed, people stopped. Thank you, 90s comics ruining holograms for all of
God.
us.
They sucked.
It's probably somebody went and broke all the machines thinking it would make their holographic comic covers from the 90s worth something, and instead it had the opposite effect.
No, we still don't care. Like
You were never going to get us to buy all of these copies of a Rob Liefeld comic because he still can't draw feet, hologram or not.
no. The worst part too is like I kind of didn't know. Oh no. I didn't kind of know this for a long time. So like I had a bunch of custom Galadriel and Virulina figures over the years, and the holograms are like it's tough to find shark and hologram holograms. And most of them are through these like metal pogs I kept finding, but it's like every time I'd have to like get a replacement or like I messed up cutting them down or whatever happened, I have to buy a new one. And each time I'm like, this is a lot, like just for this stupid pog I wanted to get, like an embarrassing amount of money. So I was like, okay, there's something going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a way to do that. make the effect. I think that time we did the time we colored Visionaries, I think I it wasn't particularly great, but I did experiment with it. And I think if I actually could find the patience to sit down and spend a couple hours, I could probably with color pencils create a hologram effect that would work for Visionaries. But again, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's for a franchise that's not exactly like lighting up the world. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we saw the leaks of the first two, which I'm like, what a safe bet. The two heroes, good job.
Yeah.
But they look good. Like I'm very excited. But I mean, you can tell there's something going on with those stickers. But the other thing was like the other big question people had were like, are you going to have a big blue translucent lion, or is that an option? Because that would be kind of cool too. Because it's almost like it's like the Transformers fans who like hate just action figures of the things. They're like, they have to transform, and I'm like, well then buy a car. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think what I will say is, as far as the staffs, the staffs were giant sized anyway.
Huge.
But
Way too big.
There's a way that you could layer a couple of layers of translucent plastic and put an LED in the back of those staffs that would create a holographic effect. And LED technology is not super spendy. It would make those figures probably $35 each, which people will complain because I think they're already like 24. It would add about $10 to the price. But this is, of course, where people have to decide how important the hologram feature is, because to recreate it, even with relatively inexpensive LED technology, it's going to add a price point.
And that was the thing with and that's where I kind of like, I'm not a Super 7, diehard the way I used to be. I don't thought I ever was, but like, I was an apologist during the pandemic, let's just say. But like, it's kind of like the Silverhawks of it all. When they first came out, I was all like, oh, I'd really like those, but hard pass. And then they did sort of experiment with ways to do reflective paint without doing the hard plastic vac metal. And they did. Yeah. And they told you, this is what you wanted. Yeah. Do not touch this. Do not handle it. Do not don't even look at it wrong. But they did it. And so shut up, you whiny baby. You got what you wanted.
And those figures started hitting, and I watched a review where somebody's like, the paint is flaking off as I try to pose them. I'm like, they literally told us. The reason we're not doing these in vac metal is because
you can't.
The way these figures
also you just can't. Like, you need like soft plastic against harder plastic again, and the plastic used for hard plastic is mega hard. So like, it's just you can't have the same posability. Like,
well, like shop the vintage C3PO. Like, it's that really hard, brittle. Like, why do you find so many vintage 3POs with his hands broken off? Because that plastic is super brittle and super like, it's super set. No, just kidding. But I don't, and it's like, it's the nostalgia, and people complaining, oh, they don't do vac metal anymore. It's like, it's expensive to do vac metal. There aren't as many places that do this technology in this day and age, because vac metal, the process is not particularly environmentally friendly anyway. No. And it's just like, why would companies, and people are like, they used to do it always. It's like, yeah, because there were more places that used to do it. It used to be
but also like, but go out and find a vintage Silverhawks and tell me how that goes. Like, find one, find a nice one. Try and find one. Like, it's impossible.
I have a vintage C3PO and vintage Death Star droids that I spent a lot of money on about 10 years ago because the vac metal is in nice shape. And I spent a lot of money because the fact, and it was on purpose. I'm like, I'm gonna spend. It was like $40 for the C3PO and like 25 for and Death Star droids are pretty common and pretty inexpensive. But because it was such a nice minty fresh vac metal on it, even then it's still sort of dull over time because the silver, for whatever reason, was not quite as nice as the 3PO gold. And I usually get the retro collection set of the second 6 figures from the original Star Wars because it has a vac metal 3PO in it.
Well, no, I didn't get that. I did get I got Stan Solo 3PO, which is sort of like a much richer gold than has the silver leg. Like he managed to like distinguish the two, which I was like, very nice. I did get the retro Leia because I hate vinyl capes. And at least when you get it out of the package, I'm like, well, that's as good as it's ever going to look again. So every time I pick one up, I'm like, what did you do to this thing? Like, same as Vader, like awful.
Well, you know, it was a quick, cheap way to get those figures, you know, and that's the thing. Like, we sort of look at things like that. It's like the first Leia looks questionable because like there's 2 paint jobs. It's like black and peach, and then it's like why is her hair black? Because like they needed black for the eyes or whatever, and for the belt instead of silver. And it's like it's just that's you know, they didn't know that anyone was going to buy these toys, guys. Like,
the thing is, they knew it was like, well, yes. And the other thing is, like, I mean, you're like, she's not Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Like, you could splurge on a little paint here.
Well, yeah, but if you look at the entire first 12 figures, like you've got Vader has red and white, Chewbacca has white and blue, and I think he's got some black on him, maybe. But they gave Chewbacca blue eyes. And then I think the most
very sweet.
The Death
I guess Stormtroopers have some. Look at them now.
And then the Death Squad commander actually has the little seal on his chest, so that was like red and blue.
It's probably Han. It's all the same colors, but it's just you have to do more separating of it, kind of thing. But like the whole wave is brown hair, I guess. Like
and red. And brown, because his hair is brown. He's got the red stripe down his leg, and then there's white and peach on. So yeah, I think it's
probably Han. I'm looking down them right now. Like, there's
Luke has yellow hair. Luke has yellow hair, black eyes, a black belt, and then there's some tan, and then peach. So Luke has 5 paint apps. So probably Luke or Han, but again, those are the 2 main heroes. So
those are the ones like with Vader should be the ones to sell out more.
And then Vader, of course, you don't need a ton. You just need the control panel. So you know it makes sense.
Yeah, to get like the light bright. I don't think he had the red eyes, or at least mine didn't.
No, he did not. You will see them with red eyes. That's fan. That's a fan creation or a custom.
Yeah, because the one they did the Obi-Wan Retro Collection one with the red eyes, and just looks better. And that's sort of like now my default Vader on the counter shelf because I'm like, this is the one I want. It's kind of like Chewie. I'm like, if they do an Empire or Return of the Jedi Retro Collection box, I'm like, do a new Chewie, please. Give him the little cowlick, like do like some gray hair, like something. But like that Chewie is he's kind of bland. It looks like Gumby but brown.
Yeah, he looks very cheerful too, in a way.
Yeah, very happy to be there. Hi, you guys.
Yeah. No.
Okay, I'm super messed up, Madamo, but I don't really. We're coming down to the clock here, so I'm just gonna burn through her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna finish this guy. I should have looked up all their names, but I did not.
I don't remember his name. I remember he's IQ, but I don't know.
Yeah.
JD? It's been a while.
Probably.
And that's the sucky thing is that I was like, I mean, I probably mentioned it at least twice in my whole video series, but I'm like, I'd love to talk about Bionic 6, but I can't because you did it. You did everything right in the first year.
Yeah, no, and they made sure all the major characters were out, all the major villains.
All the vehicles, all the playsets, all the mom, everything.
The daughter.
Yeah. And the villainous, and the monkey robot, and the goo monster, like everything. Like they just, and that's probably part of the problem too. Like they kind of blew their load.
Yeah.
Right then and there, unless they're doing like variants for Wave 2, like
but also, I mean, it was Matchbox, so obviously, I think that's why it was in diecast. Was they're like, we're a Matchbox. But I really feel like the diecast of it all is what really hurt them, because I do remember seeing them on toy shelves, and it feels like they were a little bit more expensive than other figures in the same scale, which is probably part of it, because they would have scaled with they scale fairly well with GI Joe.
Yep.
But it would have had to be the extra price point, that for us to not get them, because at that point,
and that's the thing, like. By the time I saw them, they were in the discount place, so they're already cheap. And still, my mom was like, "No." Granted, I was also like kind of old. Like that's definitely the period where I was supposed to be like not buying the things, but I was really stealing them. So it's also came at a very specific time.
Yeah, it was also sort of at that time where I was technically aging out.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember seeing them and wanting them, but then also them being a little heavier, a little bit more expensive, and it was something like, I'll get these at some point soon because they'll fit with GI Joe, especially Madam O. I was like, I really need the villain.
Yeah, she looked cool. Yeah. Just the blue eyes and the big mask. I'm like, yeah.
Her and Zarana and the Baroness, the worst. They'll be the worst villains ever. And
they would be good together, actually.
It never happened. She was the main one too. Whenever I started pricing them a few years back, that I was like, that's the one I need. So.
And usually she's pretty good. Like, I find the villains are better. They keep up better because the Bionic Six have clear legs or arms sometimes, and then sometimes like the torso or something. Like they have a lot of complex. The logos, like the Tampo logos, really it's really nice for that size, but it also like just flakes off like for no reason. So like the actual crew, the Bennetts, are very difficult to find in good shape, but the villains are much easier. Again, don't expect any accessories, and those are the ones you kind of want the accessories for, but like they survived better than some others.
Yeah. I have noticed that it's easier to find sort of loose, finger quote, complete Madam O with less paint rubs and missing paint or chips or whatever.
Yeah.
So I also like, I'm to a point where soonish I'll be able to start customizing figures again. And I think once that happens and I get sort of back in my groove with customizing, I feel like a paint apps on certain figures, especially a diecast figure where you basically can just strip it and repaint the whole thing from scratch, which will definitely
you can get decals now too, which are much easier. Like you can get like tiny, like say like I've had Janine painted a couple times. I think it's the very last Janine figure Real Ghostbusters made, but like that's the one we wanted. It was just the wrong colors. And I remember like some people have just put a decal on because they had to like sort of just repaint the whole thing real quick and dirty, and then just slapped her insignia on her shoulder, and I was like, perfect. That's all we need.
That's it. We're good. We're good. We're done.
Yeah. Like, please God, don't try to make that with a tiny paintbrush because you will hurt yourself.
Oh yeah. No. All right. Let's see. And then. Okay, so that's like yellow. He's got a blue kerchief, so let's do that. Some blue in here.
And his little blue hat from the toy.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are the toy lines in my opinion. I know, like, there's sort of the thinking of like, oh well, it doesn't have that big of a fan base, but I often feel like that's sort of the thing that like those are the untapped properties because you're not fighting with as big of like with something like GI Joe, right? For instance, because Real American Hero hit so big, trying to reboot it again, as they discovered with Classified, where they had to sort of shift from doing every figure in an updated costume. They had to find sort of the balance between a vintage look and updated.
Well, yeah, like almost like Avenger-fying it kind of thing, where it's like, okay, we need to like make the pants with a grain so it looks like cotton or jeans. We need to like make it. Yeah, there's It's tough. It's a tough balance, and they failed spectacularly at first. I mean, that's to this day that Scarlet was like a hate crime. I hate it so much.
I like
They
that.
sort of came back around.
I like it as a figure. I don't know that I like her as a Scarlet. I've got many
like
of
if
them
she was,
'cause no, sorry.
if that was Mayday from G.I. Joe Extreme, I'd be like 100%, 100%. But like
Right.
as Scarlet, I'm like, this is bad color theory because the reason Scarlet worked is that you had gray and beige and then the shock of red hair, so your eye goes towards it. But what they were doing there is like, let's have 14 colors smattered all around her, including red, and then not make her hair red.
Yeah, I've got a ton of the first classified, the Snake Eyes movie Scarlet, because those were discounted really quick. I've got a ton of one of them at some point. I'm going to switch with one of my extra Black Series New Hope Leias to do sort of like a battle armor Leia. And I've got like one of those extra bodies will be for a because I got the retro cover girl and she has the one with the cap and like the ponytail.
that one.
I was like, that one would look really good on this body if I did a different paint deco of that Scarlet Snake Eyes body. I feel like with the right color scheme, that head sculpt on it, and it would be a really cool, I think. You know, you've got like the juxtaposition of like the ball cap and then the heavy armor, and then with the sledgehammer accessory. Like I'm like, I can make something really cool with that if I find the right coloring.
That's such a great figure too, because like the first one was, people had their issues with it. I quite liked it, and that's sort of my mind's eye cover girl, so I had no real problems. But I mean, like the new one, it's very kind of, I want to say like early Sunbow-ish. I don't know what it is, but like, but it's just cute. It's just a great looking figure, cover girl or not.
It was weird to me when people were like, "Oh God, look at how bad." It's like, have you seen the vintage cover girl? Like,
yeah, bro. Like, God,
people were complaining about the vintage lady, the classified Lady Jane being unattractive. I'm like, the original vintage Lady Jane looks like Michael Myers with the hat on and some lipstick. It looks like Michael Myers on Halloween. Come on, guys.
But also with like a huge breast augmentation, because like she's just like that figure. It is, when you actually pick it up, you're like, wow, like she's really buxom.
Exact thing, let me tell you.
Anyway, good old like Scarlet and Baroness were just all like, I have mosquito bites, and then Lady J came out and was like, shablam.
Right. All right, we're at 2 hours, so we should wrap it up. Let's see. I'm gonna embiggen you, Andrew, and let's see what you got.
Okay, so I already showed. I finished this one. There's no embellishment of any kind. Other than to give what's her face, she has like mental powers apparently, so she's got like some green glow just to sort of signify. Because chick powers mean empathy or telepathy or whatever. And then I didn't do this landscape anyway. I started with Madame O. It's okay. It's a complex color scheme with a lot of competing crayon spillover.
It happens. And what do you have coming up that people should be aware of?
Nothing. No, so I just yesterday my video for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures from Archie Comics came out, and that was really focused on Ninjara and Maligna, who I had hoped would be made by NECA, and I don't think that's going to happen. So hear all about it. It just went up yesterday. Next month will be, I'm still deciding, but I think it's going to be Starcom. I love Starcom, and I've been dying to talk about it. So that'll be July's feature.
Excellent. And if you haven't watched that, go watch it. And I haven't scheduled it yet, but we will be doing a retro cavalcade in a week or two. I think 2 weeks, I think. With Colt, Dad at Arms, who was here last week, and we're going to talk about the Masters of the Universe movie, and it will be very spoilery. So if you haven't watched it by then, we're going to spoil it for you because we've got opinions.
I think it is next week, actually.
I think it is. It seems like it is. I'll double check. Let's see. No, really quickly. I'm big in that. This week on my channel, let's see what tomorrow there is. Tomorrow, there's a flip through of a 2016 Supergirl coloring book. I guess there might be some Supergirl movie coming out or something. Friday, there's a Batman versus Mr. Freeze color and chill. And for those of you who enjoy the ephemera of it all, on Saturday, I'm doing a flip through of the 1984 Supergirl the movie paper doll book. There are shorts this week, so come enjoy those. And then next Sunday, I will be here with Johnny from Geek the F Out, and we're going to be coloring Masters of the Universe. So, Johnny is coming out.
Johnny.
Yep.
I was gonna say I'm saving him a dog's age, so that'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be good. We love Johnny. And hello, Todd C. Welcome. Just in time for the end. All right. On that note, there's but one final question that we always have to ask. That's been lingering since 1984. Take it away, Phoebe Kate.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Incidentally, which one of you bitches is my mother?